390 people are unhoused. 187 people identify as American Indian or Alaska Native. 175 people identify with multiple races. 166 people identify as Black or African American. 60 people identify as Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. And 21 people identify as Asian, according to Super Total Person's Race. That means Spokane is 82% white, and a quarter of the city's unhoused population identify as Black, Indigenous, or as people of color. The reality is that while we assign these statistics to the city of Spokane, the unhoused are residents of the county as a whole. The most visible of the unsheltered which attracts the most attention of the housed residents, have all come to the city to survive, no matter how that looks to them specifically. That might mean they come to the city to access the Veterans Hospital or housing services or even drugs. However, while it is estimated almost 2,400 people in Spokane are homeless, the U.S. Government Accountability Office acknowledges this is an underestimated number. We do not see 2,400 unsheltered people on the streets of Spokane. The remainder of those experiencing homelessness are hiding in plain sight, camping on recreational trails, sleeping on the couches of family and friends, living in a vehicle, and moving it daily or even hourly to avoid harassment and legal fines. Those are the families desperate to keep their children in the neighborhood schools with friends and teachers they trust. They try to maintain a job and stability in an unstable environment. Often they can't afford a permanent residence due to the high deposits required for rental property. Diverse, mixed-income neighborhoods benefit everyone. Did you do? See? Often they can't afford a permanent residence. Diverse, mixed-income neighborhoods benefit everyone. Research shows that diversity makes everyone smarter and more innovative. Rock and Grant. Incentivizing subsidized housing construction in higher opportunity neighborhoods is also important. Quoted from the Child, Youth, and Family Policy at Brandeis University. We need to provide those families with more choices for low income and affordable housing. Spokane County can make a difference by enacting 1590.
Thank you. Okay, is the time not up on the screen? Yeah. Okay. I believe the next one may be at 6 minutes, as we do have I have Mr. Brandon Ward, and then Stephen Oglesby. Oglesby.
And then I also have for the series.
Okay. In the past, I've allowed, two to combine time, so I will allow two, but I'm not a third at this time. So if someone has their own testimony, because then I think that'll take us to our 15 minutes. So Mr. Ward, if you want to come up, and then I just want to double check if Mr. Oglesby wants to award. Okay. Did someone want to?
Mr. Oglesby's donating.
Okay, that's what I want to confirm, but I just want to confirm that with Mr. Oglesby. Okay, so you'll get 6 minutes total. That's what I just want to confirm, that I need to hear from the person directly. And so you'll have 6 minutes. Thank you.
I'm here for the same thing for the past, I don't know how many years I've been coming in here, quite a few, 3, 4. This issue has been going on since 2018. I've been filing complaints. The first initial complaint was seen by the investigator and dismissed. The second complaint was dismissed as well. And we went through the third one, and after several years, they prosecuted, and then they let Mr. Bailey off while allowing him to keep everything on his property except for his semis, which he's since just brought back and parks inside the barn with the bathroom, violating the conditions of use on his permit. I provided a zip drive to the new building official just over 2 months ago, showing countless infractions of that. And at this time, nothing has happened. Mr. Bailey's continuing to use the site, and he's continuing toxic dump. I gave you photos of Mr. Bailey dumping an entire 55-gallon barrel just south of his shipping container. That was sent to Mike Lascola, as well as the Department of Health, as well as Department of Ecology. That is just one of many. I supplied you with the affidavits from myself, Abe Worley, Leah Oglesby, Rachel Ward, and Darren Enquist. These are neighbors and my wife. At outlining other toxic dumping, including them taking the fluids from their commercial vehicles that should not be on the property and dumping them at their own wellhead, which is 430 feet from my wellhead, with the 50-foot depth till we hit water. Okay, we already have a large amount of toxic wells in Spokane County up on the West Plains. And it appears that in some period of years, we're going to have more toxic wells on the Burnett, Cooley Height, Four Mound area. That's unacceptable. I have personally witnessed the Baileys bringing in over 40 barrels just in the past few years. I have witnessed them crushing empty barrels, but I've never seen full barrels leave the property. So where are the barrels going? The site in the pictures there, you can see them with the barrel chained up, is where they put in a secondary septic tank without a permit. I worked with Mike Lascola. He went out to find it, but they had buried it with debris, a debris pile before he got there. As he was on his way, they dumped debris over it because he called them to get permission. So he was unable to witness it. They have since attached an entire drain field going across the road into the pine trees. And I believe that they are dumping these barrels into that septic tank to dispose of them. Okay, 40 barrels, that's several thousand gallons. And this appears to be hydraulic fluid and diesel, which is the usual waste project for products for a commercial business. That is enough to poison every well in a multi-mile area forever. So I just talked to the building official this week, and he said that this is finally on the radar, that sometime this winter, something may be done about it. They have no investigators. It's him and it is Monty Chamberlain. They have no investigators to go out in the field simply because they can't find anybody to hire. But to allow this to continue, just in the last year, there's been 3 toxic dumpings. The barrel is probably the most overt one that I've seen. This will take another 2 years to prosecute after this winter, if it starts this winter, because the last one took 2 years and 3 months. Mr. Bailey received a $70 fine for commercially using his property. All the building materials are still stored there behind a side obscuring fence. You cannot use a side obscuring fence on designated agricultural property. His property is taxed as forestry land. That is an agricultural property. It is LTA designated. So again, he cannot use a side obscuring fence, which is how he got out of prosecution. So that was erroneously done. And again, you cannot use a tarp, and he has a 30 by 40 pile of material under a tarp that was there in existence when it was investigated. It's still there. You can only store materials for 180 days. These materials have been there for 4, 5, 6, and 7 years. How is Mr. Bailey exonerated after his $70 fine for court fees, yet allowed to continue to use his property commercially, allowed to continue to dump toxic liquids, and allowed to maintain his vast construction yard? It's still in existence. They still fill it up over the fence using a mechanical loading device in violation of 14.616, 230.18. So they are using a mechanical loading device on a daily basis to put materials over the fence, back over the fence into their trucks and semis and haul them off, bring in more junk, take it over the fence because they're told, hey, you got a fence, you're ready to go. And the fence is 8 feet tall, no permit. So they're allowed to get out of this prosecution by doing something illegal. And one of the terms for getting them out of this was they moved their business to Busy Bee Landfill, which is also an LTA property. That was acknowledged in the documentation. So you took a commercial business that can't operate on LTA, and their case was dismissed because they moved it to another LTA property. That can't be substantiated or rationalized. It doesn't make any sense for them to go run it on a different LTA property. So this is my question. Now we're going to wait, apparently, according to the building official, very nice man, very patient. I enjoyed talking to him, but just because of lack of resources, he says this winter. So how many toxic dumpings are going to occur by this winter? How larger will this landfill be? You'll see that the landfill in that photo attached to that email, and I supplied this to you 1.5 years ago, shows that over, let me see what the number was on that. It was over 100,000 square feet. So over 2 acres. Okay, anything over 1 acre requires a change of use. And anything over, I believe it's 400 yards, requires a SEPA permit. Now, if you remember the very large document I brought you 2 years ago and showed dumping in that document of over 2,000 yards.
2 o'clock legislative meeting. So we still are in open public forum. Commissioner French does have a question or comment that he would like to ask, and I will allow that to happen. But I don't know if we want to have the other gentleman come up and speak first. Yeah. Can just hand it to Shelley. Thank you. And then just so you know, so state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you. We good? Uh-huh. So helpful. Thank you. Abram Worley, 18818 West Burnett. I'm the neighbor of Brandon Ward and unfortunately the neighbor of Dawn Bailey. I don't know all the fine details as Brandon does, but I can tell you this is my 3rd year coming down here and sitting next to him as he asked for help. I personally seen Dawn dumping for over 5 years. I've owned my property for 3 years and he's not making these things up. He's dumping whatever he wants to. My question is, why do we have rules if no one's going to enforce them? And it takes 5 years to get any type of help. I moved out there. I spent my life savings to get the property. I had a well dug last year. I'm planning on raising cattle and I want to raise all my own food. And I got to worry about the neighbor who I watch dump oil. I watch him dump all this stuff in there. And we keep asking for help over and over again. Just step one, just a little help. We can't do anything. So we just come down here and we keep asking. And I don't know all the details, but I can say it's absolutely happening. This man, he stole my driveway and turned it into his driveway. He doesn't get the building permits he needs. He can just do whatever he wants. There's no loss. He can literally do whatever he wants. He can build whatever he wants. He can take my road. No one does anything. So we're just asking for help. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Commissioner French, go ahead and make your comment.
Thank you. So I'm as exasperated with this process as you are. So 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with both Monty Chamberlain and Chris Anderson, and it said, we've got to find a way to stop this. You're not the only one. I wish that this wasn't as pervasive as it has been in the county. And so we are going to try a different approach to create some legislation that gives us some teeth and also the financial wherewithal to go in and fix the problem instead of pushing it down the road like we have been with current legislation. So I know that Mr. Anderson is working on the legislation. Hopefully we'll be able to bring it back soon so we can get adopted and be able to put some teeth into some of our enforcement codes that just quite frankly, and you've experienced it, are either unenforceable or worthless when you get into court. And we just can't continue to kick the can down the road like we have, and not only your problem, but a couple others as well. So I just wanted to let you know that. And then the second question is, have you had an opportunity to talk to anybody in the Department of Ecology, and have they given you any indication of being able to come in and help? Because subsurface water is under their authority. They ought to be stepping forward and saying, no, we can't allow people to contaminate the water. So, and you don't have to answer now, but maybe later on we could have a conversation and see who with ecology you've talked to, and maybe we can push the ball there as well.
So yes, I would suggest, just since it's open public forum, it's not a back and forth, that you and Commissioner French have that discussion. As well as I would state when you're having that discussion, what has happened with the health district as well. And so Commissioner French can inform Commissioner Kearns and myself, and Commissioner Waldrop, who all sit on the health board, as to what has occurred there as well. So thank you. Okay, so this is, I will just open it up for one more open public comment. If there's anyone else that would like to comment at our open public forum, that this is for items not on our agenda. Seeing no one else in the audience. And no one else online, then I will close the open public comment and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve items 3A, 4, A, B, and C, 5A, and 6A through P.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve items 3A, 4A, B, C, 5A, 6A through P. Is there any further discussion from my fellow commissioners? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That then will take us to items 7, which we have several public hearing items today. So the first one is item 7A, to consider granting a franchise to Broadlink to construct, operate, and maintain telecommunication systems in, over, along, and under county roads, highways, and right-of-ways in Spokane County for the Public Works Department.
Good
Looks like we have
afternoon,
Deborah
Commissioners.
Perkins.
Spokane Regional Broadband Development Authority, Broadlink, a Washington Public Corporation created pursuant to Chapter 35.21 RCW, has requested a telecommunications franchise with Spokane County to locate their facilities within the county's jurisdictional road right-of-ways. This is a dark fiber and will be located above the ground in some areas and below the ground in others. It will form a public benefit open access network available to internet service providers for an access fee within a public-private partnership. Broadlink plans to deploy its network throughout the county by the fall of 2029. And the Spokane County Engineer's Office suggests that you approve the franchise.
Thank you. Okay, are there any comments from the commissioners? Okay, this is an open public forum item, so public hearing, I will open it up to the public hearing on item number 7A. See no one in the audience or no one online. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A. Seeing no one in the audience and no one online, I will close the open public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve public hearing item number 7A and grant a franchise to Broadlink to construct, operate, maintain telecommunications systems in, over, along, and under county roads, highways, and right-of-ways of Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
I believe Commissioner Jordan was second. There we go. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Waldorf, I didn't hear.
Aye.
There we
Yes,
go.
aye.
Thank you. Okay. Passes unanimously, and that will then take us to item number 7B, which is to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code section number 46.61.2002. Stops at intersections with heavily traveled roads, 65th Avenue for the Spokane County Public Works Department. Matt Zerkor.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Matt Zerkor, Spokane County Engineer. As mentioned, this is to discuss the addition of a traffic stop sign at 65th Avenue where it approaches Juanita on the South Hill. You can see on the vicinity map on the left, this is at the very far edge of the urban area on the South Hill. Currently, we have Juanita northbound coming up to this intersection stopping, and 65th turning into Juanita coming from the west and going north is essentially treated like a curve, but it's not really a curve. So we believe this will be much less confusing for the traveling public. The traffic volumes are somewhat balanced out here, so it really wasn't driven by the volumes. It's just a safety issue where things don't make sense to people that aren't familiar with the area. Happy to answer any questions.
So I would just ask, this is kind of up in my district area. Was it a request from citizens or is it something that we went out and looked at and made the determination?
I believe it originated with the citizen concern about the safety of the intersection.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an open public. Are there any other questions for Mr. Zarecor? Okay, this is an open public forum or a public hearing item. So I will open it up for testimony on item number 7B. Okay, seeing no one in the audience and no one online. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7B. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7B. Seeing no one in the audience and no one online, I will close the open public hearing and I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve public hearing item number 7B and accept the county engineer's recommendation in revising Spokane County Traffic Code, section number 46.61.2002, stops at intersections with heavily traveled road, 65th Avenue for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
That was a give me on my part.
You were busy signing. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to item number 7C, which is another public hearing item to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code section number 46.614155.1, 20 miles per hour, school speed zones, extend existing school zone on Freya Street to Day Mount Spokane Road for the Spokane Public Works Department. And Mr. Zarecor.
All right. Thank you again, Commissioner. So this one is just as stated, we're extending an existing school zone on Freya up and around the corner past Sycamore Street. And this was a request by the school. They had an incident where there was a close call with a child, so they would like to be prudent, as we would. And to make this safer, just extend that school zone out. There's a lot of foot traffic from children traveling on Daymount and then also Freya, and having it start halfway down the school wasn't nearly enough buffer distance. So happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Zarecor? Okay, seeing none, this is an open public for testimony. And I do have someone who has registered. So Rachel Smith and Sloan Smith, if you would like to come down. And so with the two of you, we still keep it to 3 minutes, but with both of you, it's up to 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah, 3 is probably fine. My name's Rachel Smith. I am a resident of Tanager Estates, just north of East Day Mountain, Spokane. My daughter Sloan goes to Meadow Ridge there, and she uses that crosswalk quite frequently. And the speed limit posted is 25. Nobody goes that because on the other side of the highway, they go 45 and they just don't seem to slow down. But I feel like during school times, it should be 20 because on Moody, the parallel road, the school speed limit is 20 to their crosswalk as well. And there are several children in our neighborhood now. It used to kind of be a retirement place, but now a lot of families are moving in and that crosswalk is heavily used. My daughter is the one that had the close call last year. Someone was not even obeying traffic speed limits. So we were asking you here today that you extend that school speed limit zone so that way, hopefully it's safer for the children to cross. You want to say something, Sloan?
My name is Sloan Smith. I'm here to ask you to make my streets safer so I can walk to school with less fear of past drivers. Fast.
Yeah, so if you could do that, that would be great. And make our community a lot safer. And we can walk more to school and not worry. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It looks like we have somebody else online. So I can see Anne Marie. I can't see the last name.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was just really glad to see that there was a notification in the neighborhood. I'm that house right there, that second house on the corner on Freya. And we just in general, my husband and I we just wanted to have our voice heard. We definitely resonate with the unsafe driving. I would encourage whoever is kind of doing some looking into this. There have been several accidents, like car accidents, right on that corner. People fly around that corner, especially in the winter. We have it on camera on our house camera. We've had probably 5 since December where cars have been totaled. I think a mother with a baby, the car flipped. So while I'm in support of definitely reducing the speed zone, I'm concerned that that might not even be enough. I'd encourage maybe some other kind of forced traffic, speed limit, whatever option can be placed there. That's just something that we have seen time and time again. And it's not just in the winter. We had, I believe, an elderly woman probably this summer who also kind of completely crashed her car through that corner on Daymount Spokane and didn't make the turn in time onto Freya. So that's just something I wanted to share. It's definitely a concern. We have young children who ride their bikes around the area a lot. So please, if whoever is in this hearing could look into that, that would be greatly appreciated. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much. And I think, Mr. Zarecor, I think when we make some of these speed changes, a lot of times we'll put out through the Sheriff's Department one of the speed zone trap or not trailers. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
So hopefully we could do that there.
Yeah, we'd
as
be
school
happy to
started.
forward that request. As you imagine, it gets scheduled. It's quite the popular item, but in doing a rotation seems to be the most effective. If you keep them in one place for more than a few weeks, people get kind of immune to it, but it is a helpful tool. Be happy to schedule one out in this area.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Sloan, I just want to say thank you very much for coming down to testify. I'm sorry that you were, it was an accident that happened, but this is how you get to know your government and you get to come down and do these things. So thank you for being brave and coming down here. So with that, then, is there anyone else who would like to testify on item number 7C? Seeing no one else, I will close the public testimony and I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve public hearing item number 7C and accept the county engineer's recommendation for revising Spokane County Traffic Code section number 46.61.4155.1, 20 miles per hour, a school speed zone, extend existing school zone on Freya Street to Daymount Spokane Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I would just like to thank the Smiths. They're the ones that brought this forward. They had reached out several months ago and asked if this was something we would consider. And so I passed it on to Matt and his crew and they examined it and here we are today. So thank you very much for initiating this process and we really appreciate it. Sloan, we're going to make your street safer for you.
Very good. Okay. With that then, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. With that then, we will go to item number 7D, and I do have several people that want to participate in the public hearing. So this is to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code section number 46.61.5701, no parking for Fruit Hill Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department. So Mr. Zarecor.
All right. Thank you again, Commissioner. And next slide, please. Oh, perfect. Thanks. So you can see by the vicinity map, we're out in the near valley here on Fruit Hill Road, just off of Upriver. This road goes up into the Bigelow Gulch, Peone Prairie area, and also up to the winery at the top of the hill. It's become a busier road in recent history. And there's been a lot of parking along the roadway, and we've had a lot of complaints from the citizens out in the area that it's unsafe. People coming out from behind cars. It's a very narrow road anyway, not a lot of room to park. And a lot of people trying to enjoy the view, but also some other activity going on that's not so desirable. And we've had requests by law enforcement to post at no parking for the section shown in red here. And that's always kind of our, immediately we want to support our law enforcement folks and make sure we're giving them the tools they need to do their job. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Zarecor? I'm familiar with that section of road. It is very windy and it's very steep. So, and it is very narrow. It's an older county road. And so, yeah, I can see and appreciate why law enforcement would make the request. So thank you. Yes.
Is there any particular reason why it seems to attract parking?
It's a really great view.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you can see forever. It's very similar to the one we did on Quinemos. When you're up there, you have a territorial view. So it's very popular.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a public hearing item and I have 3 people at this point that have signed up to testify. So I will start with Ryan Hansen.
Hello. My name's Ryan Hansen. I live at 11208 East Fruit Hill. So we were kind of looking at the road about, I don't know what we do about extending that down to the bottom of Fruit Hill. So my house is the next one down on the hairpin. You go from the hairpin down. It's like another 800 feet from that corner. And we would like to continue that on. I don't know how we go about doing that. With the no parking, if you enforce that up top, it's going to push everybody down above my house. I mean, the debris and there are people like a street race up there. I mean, it's pretty crazy at nighttime. And I don't know how, or if there is the no parking signs put up there, what are they going to do to enforce it? I don't know. If we could extend that whole thing, maybe add some speed limit signs on the road. I mean, I don't think there's any speed limit signs on there. So, I mean, people will go probably 50 to 60 from the corner to the hairpin. So, I mean, it's just not very safe. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll ask questions at the end
Okay.
of Mr. Zarecor. So thank you. Next, we have Jeff White.
Hi, my name is Jeff White. I live on Van Marter Road, which is directly adjacent to Fruit Hill Road, kind of where it meets up with Upriver. It kind of sounds like we're on the same page with what I was expecting. But I may have a kind of a unique perspective because about 4 years ago, I bought the house that I grew up in and moved back. In the time that had passed since I've lived here, Fruit Hill Road has become, in my opinion, it's unpassable. Like I won't use it because it's too dangerous to use. And furthermore, the nighttime activities have become so noticeable, even from my house, which is more or less the intersection of Upriver and Fruit Hill Road. So I think we're kind of on the same page of what needs to happen. So I just wanted to make sure my voice was heard and I testified to the problems that are going on Fruit Hill Road. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So next I have John Cushman.
Me.
Very good.
Good afternoon. My name is John Cushman. I live at 5026 North Fruit Hill Road. I'm very familiar with the problems. I've been there for a little over about 3.5 years. In the 3.5 years, I have personally called Crime Check. I'm going to surmise at least 3 times a week. I've sent a couple letters to the county commissioners and the sheriff. And I think it's phenomenal that we're finally going to do something. My concern is there are no parking signs on the hill now, and they're not enforced. And that's the scary part. In the past 3 years that I've been there, there's been 3 fires, one of which was started right in front of my driveway. The other 2 were just below south of Arborcrest. You could probably fill a dump truck full of garbage on any given night after the party people go there. I've witnessed as high as 13 cars there. I've seen people with barbecues set up in the back of the pickups on top of the cars. And it's a phenomenal view of the valley. But there's drug paraphernalia there. There are alcohol containers emptied there. There is human feces there. It's a health concern and a huge safety concern for those of us that live up there. We've had things thrown at our cars. We've been screamed at and yelled at. If you stop and say anything, it gets kind of ugly. So the best thing to do is go home and call Crime Check. But it hasn't dissipated in the 3.5 years that I've been there. My neighbor's been there for 39. You'll hear from some other people that have been there. But it's a huge, huge problem. A safety issue, and somebody's eventually going to get hurt or killed on that hill. And that's something I would not feel comfortable with. So, thank you for considering this.
Thank you. So that is all who I have who've signed up. So is there more people? Okay. So, and yes, and I have one online. So and then if you would please fill out a form, when you're done at the end. Thank you. And so, yes, so if you just state your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Leslie Jump, and I'm at 11020 East Fruit Hill. And we have had the house there since the houses were built. We've actually been living there for, well, I should say 14 years living there. And as everyone has said, it is the party mecca. I'm telling you, the speedsters that go up there, and it used to be weekends, and now it is nightly. And they're just, the pop, pop, boom, boom cars all night long. Like they said, tons of garbage up there, insane amount of party stuff, and what's sad is we have the most beautiful venue up there with Arborcrest. Gorgeous. Something that people, have to do in Spokane. We have constant, runners, bicyclists, people recreation up from the river. I mean, it is an amazing area, but Fruit Hill has been so neglected for the access road that it is. And I mean, the road is in disrepair like you wouldn't believe. It's barely a road at this point. The chunks it is barely a road. And before it did have a no parking sign, it's had several, and the kids, you can hear them hitting it and everything. They've pulled it out multiple times, the no parking signs. I do use parking on the road. We're down below. We have a really short driveway, which a lot of us do on the roads like that, and our driveways are like this. So we do tend to, like if we have guests over and they can't handle our driveway, they do park on the road way down with the houses, but then they have to watch out for the kids coming up, and we had an abandoned stolen truck one time lit on fire. That they just abandoned on the road, lit on fire. Just constant, but it's not even just weekends. It is nightly. Such a shame for such a beautiful road, beautiful area that literally hundreds of people are using. Hundreds, So yeah, we want that, and we would like to see more. And how would you enforce it? Because like everyone's done, they've called and like, how do you enforce that? So we need some kind of plan. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I do see we have somebody online. So Mark Hall, you are online. If you would like to unmute, you will have 3 minutes if you can state your name and address for the record.
You bet. My name is Mark Hall. I'm at 5112 North Fruit Hill Road. And I just want to add to some of the comments that John had made too. And I'm going on my 27th year here. And the road has definitely changed over time. And it's really bad now. And I as John had stated before, I've come by and kids have propane fireplaces in the back of their truck. The amount of garbage that's thrown is just, if Arborcrest didn't pick up that garbage nightly, it would just be even worse than it is now. And I think that for my family and I, the biggest issue is how are we going to patrol it? Because I've noticed that the signs have changed here, that they now say trespassing. So that's a new version of the sign, but that it hasn't made any difference. And that, the kids will usually go up there and spray paint that. And I keep thinking to myself, how much money we're spending at the county and changing the signs out, because we do that, I don't know, once a month. So we would definitely like to see it patrolled. I guess that's my biggest issue, is that it's nice to say no parking, but it's currently posted as no trespassing. So I'm not sure that this is going to make a big difference. And maybe somebody can explain to me and maybe the rest of us here what the change in that status is from no parking to no trespassing. Is it the ticket? Is it going to be more expensive if somebody gets a ticket? My understanding is that the current tickets now are like $40. And my understanding is that some of the law enforcement are saying it's just not worth their time to write a $40 ticket. And this is hearsay. So I don't know if this changing it to no parking is going to be, more, because they're not going to tow it because they're there. So that would just be my comments. And I appreciate you guys looking at it and hopeful that I don't even walk that road. I used to walk that road probably 3 times a week, and I don't even dare to get there anymore. It's too it's out of control. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, so is there anyone else who would like to testify on item number 7D? I'm not seeing anyone else in the audience or anyone else online. So with that, then I will close the public testimony. I will ask Mr. Zarecor a couple of questions. I guess just for clarification, enforcement is under the sheriff's office, so the commissioners are not, and the Public Works Department don't have enforcement authority. That's an independent elected under the sheriff as the sheriff. So we will take these concerns to the sheriff's office and talk to him. I think on the no trespassing, as Commissioner Kearns and I were just saying up here, I was on the Hutton Settlement Board for 16 years, so I'm very familiar with that road. And I think those no trespassing signs were from Hutton. I don't think it's the county that puts up those no trespassing signs, because it's trying to stop the people from the road coming down onto Hutton's property that borders up there. So I think those are where the no trespassing signs are coming from. And if we're asking, and Matt, Mr. Zarecor, you can correct me, if we're asking for no parking signs now, this is the first time the county's officially putting those up, or is this not?
Yeah, there are no parking signs, as they mentioned. They're a bit of a chore to keep in good repair in this area. And really what we're doing is, I consider it a good first step. Without no parking signs in code, there's nothing law enforcement can do in terms of dealing with the situation. It gives them a tool in their toolbox to help dissipate the situation that they have going on up here. Without it, they don't really have anything that can tell people it's public right of way. It's open for public use. So, I would like to see how this goes. Obviously, we'll talk to law enforcement about the enforcement issue. I'm sure they're well aware of it, but it was a request from them that we do these no parking signs because they would like something that they could enforce when they go up there to deal with the situation.
Okay, so in the past, we've just put up some no parking signs, but it's not been officially in our code.
It may have been, but it was for a much smaller section. This is
Okay.
a pretty significant expansion of the area where we had no parking before.
Okay, and then to the first gentleman's question. So with it, does it come all the way down to Upriver Drive, or does it?
No, it just the area in red. The view area is pretty much the area in red where
Right.
people want to be. He could be right. This may push people parking further down the hill, and we're happy to address that. If that becomes an ongoing issue, we can look at expanding it. We did also have testimony that people use it for their own parking needs. So we'll want to be
Right.
thoughtful about how we do that, but we're happy to look at that situation.
Okay, so I think to those concerns, I would say that yes, if if we see once the change is made that there's a concern, then continue to reach out to Mr. Zarecor and let us know so we can look to further address that. Okay, is there any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, then I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve public hearing item number 7D and accept the county engineer's recommendation of revising Spokane County Traffic Code section number 46.61.5701, no parking Fruit Hill Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, or is there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all very much for coming down to testify. We truly appreciate it. So that then will take us to item number 7E, which is to consider the vacation of a portion of Carnahan Road and 33rd Avenue, County Engineers Road File number 249 South for the Spokane County Public, or 249S for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Thank you again, Commissioner. This one is for something different. It's for a vacation of a section of roadway. And you can ignore the red dot on the vicinity map. It's not in the right location. This actual vacation is on the South Hill, just off 29th and Glenrose. And you can see there Chase Middle School is in the hatched yellow area, just to get oriented. And this is a section of unopened right-of-way. There is currently platting activity in the same area that's going to provide a road system for its neighborhood that it's building. And it will essentially replace the need for these two right-of-ways. So it's the recommendation of my office that we go ahead and vacate those right-of-ways to make room for the new project. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay. So this is an open public hearing item. So I will open up the public hearing for item number 7E. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7E. See no one in the audience and no one online, and I don't have any pre-filled out forms. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7E. Seeing no one, I will close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve public hearing item number 7E and accept the county engineer's recommendation as far as a vacation for a portion of Carnahan Road and 33rd Avenue, County Engineer Road File number 249S for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
Like not even a fight over it.
He's doing really well.
We
Excellent.
developed an agreement here, so
Since
it's
it's the
well
last one.
coordinated.
Wow.
Well done, Commissioner. Yes.
So I have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. That takes us to the end of our agenda item. We do have a couple of executive sessions that I know have been planned. So I don't know, Mr. Simmons, if you're going to address it, or Ms. Pilgrim.
I will. Commissioners, we have two executive session items, both under labor negotiations, RCW 4230-140.4. And the first executive session is going to be 30 minutes. It'll include the commissioners, Jessica Pilgrim, myself, Sheriff John Knowles, Under Sheriff Kevin Ritchie, Randy Bischoff. No action is expected. The second item, also under labor negotiations, will include the commissioners, Jessica Pilgrim, myself, Mike Sparber, Don Hooper, Randy Bischoff. 30 minutes and also no action. And Josh Grote on both of those.
Okay, very good.
That would have been a mistake missing him.
Thank you. So these are two executive session items. Any action anticipated at the end of them? No, I'm seeing the head nod. So no action is anticipated. I'm just making sure they say. Yes. So with that, then at the end of, there's 2 30-minute, so we anticipate to be in for an hour. At the end of that, we will adjourn, and currently it is 2:54. So I will say it'll take us till 3 o'clock to get started, to get everyone clear the room. So we will adjourn, and go into executive session, and we'll be in executive session until 4 o'clock. Thank you all very much.